Welcome back to a very special edition of the Justin Time Podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and with me is Will.
My guy,
It's been a year.
already, brother. Already.
Already been a year. And
I can remember like it was yesterday. We was talking about the Skip Burton book, brother.
got the
Everything
book right
matters
there.
in baseball. Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's the one.
Then I got the
That is the
Edo
one.
book right here because,
He's back.
in very special format, he's back.
Yeah. Rehire you, brother.
I've got the special edition 2023 Coke can right here, as well as the 1993 Coke bottle right here, and the beautiful flag behind me.
That's a pay homage. There you go, brother. Pay homage.
So been a lot has happened this year. We've had very high highs and very low lows.
What a difference 12 months could make, brother. Like we were
I know.
saying. Yeah, it's a lot, man.
But last year, and I've got the national championship hat from 2025 because that's really how all this started.
Yeah, for sure. We had got into the started talking about the season late into the World Series, before we really got into the book. But it's been a great year. It's been a fast flowing year for sure. I will tell you that. But yeah,
it has
been a great ride.
Yeah, we are up to. Let's see the episode count real quick. I want to say we're up to 40.
Goodness.
More?
Let me see.
We have 58 videos.
Right.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It'd be easier if I went to Spotify and did this. By the way, we are on Spotify, folks. Please drop us a follow there and give us a listen there.
Please.
Let's see. We got 37 episodes. We're close to 40.
Yeah, I knew it was in that ballpark. The ballpark makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. But, we're still growing. Still getting out there, figuring some stuff out. I think we figured some stuff out for baseball season that I like going forward. We'll keep doing that next year. Maybe do a special fall edition next year. Who knows?
Well, we all, like we always tell you guys, just looking to get more ideas from you guys, more feedback. Just see what we can do. I think me and Justin been talking. We got some stuff planned. Have some ideas percolating. So you will definitely be updated when that time comes.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
sure,
last year we talked about a bunch of Skip's influences in the college game.
Yeah.
And throughout this week with the College World Series been going on, I've seen on social media and repeatedly you can see Skip's input in, not input, but like impact.
Yeah.
And here's a great story just from Ben McDonald, one of the LSU greats. What year was that? I think it was like 89 or something. Don't worry, I got it. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, it's 87, 89.
Yeah. About him giving up the walk-off grand slam, and that was the first time he's ever failed at something in the sport, and he was going to quit baseball and stick to basketball because Dale Brown told him he had a future in basketball, and he almost gave up baseball, but he got on a plane and went to the Alaskan League and was still unsure, and the coach for the Alaskan League told him he was going to start the opening day the next day. And he said he didn't sleep at all. And he went to the ballpark, and the coach came and gave him the lineup card for the other team, and it just had Paul Carey 1 through 9. That's the dude who hit the grand slam off of it. And he said he went out there, he threw a complete game, they won, and he had 15 strikeouts, maybe 14. Yeah. And the rest was history. And it just was the wake-up call he needed, the kicking the ass he needed to get going, just to get him going. It was the wake-up call. And he's, like he said, that story just tells you that some things aren't going to go your way, But, you got the whole impact list. Like, Ole Miss lost the opener. Bianco is a Bertman guy. He played under Bertman. He's still got the same photos for comebacks in his thing. He posted all in the locker room. And told stories and motivational speeches and stuff, It didn't necessarily work out for them this year. They blew it, Okay, a lot of these teams, SEC teams, they probably told them, okay, LSU's been most successful here I mean, just count them out with me. We got 8 right there.
Yep. A nice number.
Been one of the most successful teams in the SEC in Omaha. Do what they did. And I think they meant from last year, or the 2023 season,
Yeah.
not this year's LSU team, because Texas went out there and had like 3 errors in the first inning against Georgia in the opener.
Yeah.
Missed the pop up at for third because they were giving their best LSU impression.
Man, oh man, we're gonna get to that too, man. Goodness
You know,
gracious.
I mean,
Oh man. But like you
when they say do what LSU does, they didn't mean this year. This
not
year was
not
the
this year. Look,
outliers.
that's the caveat. But I'm with you, brother. Like, I mean, just like you bring up Ben McDonald, 6'7", played from 87 to 89, won the 89 Golden Spikes award, selected first overall in the MLB draft. Just like you said, the basketball. We've already hashed our story even last year,
Yeah,
but that's just one of many countless examples of how like the fingerprint that Skip had on not only just LSU baseball, not only on LSU athletics, but just the college sports landscape as a whole. Because we talked about last year, as we were covering the book, talked about how hey, hello,
hey, tell everybody, hey, Louis, this could be
gunshot,
the mascot of the channel.
yeah,
Okay, Louis, you want me to put you down? There you go, buddy.
but yeah, just shout out to Louis. Just and I was, the thing is when you look at how it's so when I was reading the book, it's so crazy when we was reading it last year to not see LSU at like the most elite light when it came to the sport of baseball. Because we talked
Yeah, I
about in the
know.
'80s, when we talked about in the '80s, obviously the football team won a championship in their late '50s, and basketball was really the cream of the crop for the school in the '80s. So like and like baseball ended up like by the time of the end of the decade, they were on the rise, but they didn't get to the mountaintop just yet. But when you look back since Skip got there in '84, they had to really build up that culture, not just on the field, but just like the fanfare. And then so when you progress from that point and to really see what they've become is such a testament to obviously, you can't nobody does anything alone, but it's a testament to like his vision. But we always talked about last year, he was such a visionary. A lot of
Yeah.
people celebrate him for just having that forward thinking mentality. And like
Mm-hmm.
you just see the manifestation, like you said, on the flag in your room, just like it's a manifestation of what he had installed. And like you
And
see it like with Ben McDonald with talking games, play by play, and you talk about Bianco, just like all these guys have really were impacted positively by Skip.
yeah, and here's another one. If you look into and you listen to the commentary from the games, I'm 90% sure Todd Walker's doing one game. That's the Skip guy. Ben McDonald's calling other games. You know,
Right.
his influence is huge. But none of this happens without him.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because Alex Box was run down in the '80s. There was a quote that I read this week, and I think it was in the book, but somebody said if you wanted to find a quiet place to study, you went to LSU baseball game back then. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
so it's just amazing what you can do, and with LSU's Alex Box Stadium and Skip Bertman Field is a testament to that, and every single national championship up there is a testament to that.
Of course, for sure. And, I can't speak enough about how like it really demanded excellence, not just from his staff and his players, but just really the university as a whole. Just like you gotta
Yeah,
like like the man change, but you force change in a way. But but you have to be in the process of actually just holding people accountable, holding yourself accountable for one, and then holding everybody that comes after you accountable. And obviously,
yeah,
it's a whole joint effort. And like just to see where this program is, like you said, we're gonna get to the 26 baseball season, but we've trashed it out plenty too. But really, just they have really set the bar so high. Now I know
yeah,
USC still has the baseball titles in college with 12 or 11 or 12, but what LSU's done is so remarkable because they've been so steady for the last several decades.
yeah.
So
You know, uh, Let me find my phone real quick because I had something, but man, I ain't gonna find it. I don't know where it went. There it is. Speaking of USC, we've got
Yeah, I saw that.
their pitcher,
Yeah, I saw that.
got one of their pitchers. This could be a good season for LSU next year. But, speaking of bringing it all back to Skip, one of the things he said, and I think that where we failed this year just because of injuries and everything else,
Hmm.
in hasty transfer portal,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
I think we got to the point where we didn't. Okay, like I didn't read his book, but I read that book. I've got the audio book for another thing that he has on my phone, and it popped up yesterday on the playlist. And I think where we failed this year a lot because of injury and other things was we played the 9 best statistically, but not our 9 best.
Yeah.
He
And that was always
said,
his philosophy. Yeah.
yeah, he said that he had always looked at the off the field stuff, the mindsets, the emotion, how different players interacted with each other. If they had one guy that, in for us this year, in my opinion, I really think that one guy for us was Chris Stanfield. That all the guys did better with that guy in the lineup,
Yeah.
and we didn't have that. Whether it was due to injury, we'll get on this a little later, but a guy like Gavin Guidry, what I think what I miss is, I know he's a pitcher. I miss having that number 8 on the field,
Mm. Yeah.
that leadership.
Yeah.
And I think if Guidry leaves, which is not, he's in a summer ball league right now, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
But if he ends up going, I would like to see that number 8 jersey go to a guy like Milan.
That would be my pick too. Yeah, I just like, and quite frankly, I don't. If you're gonna change anybody, like if you're gonna give it to anybody else, I don't see how you can give it to anybody else but Milan.
Yeah.
But that's just my take.
Yeah. No, no, not a knock on Guidry or anything,
Of course
but
not.
to
No.
me, the number 8 jersey last year, when they did it last year in 25, should have gone to Josh Pearson. He was a guy that stayed there while every other talented outfielder in his class left and went to and hit the transfer portal. He stayed all 4 or 5 years he was at LSU. You don't win the 23 national championship without him making that play in left field.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, everything's different. But you know, kind of to push us forward.
Football, 26 football. But and I bring that like I know, like yeah, you had fit falls for all long, brother. Oh
Lord,
dear.
we went from the highest of the highs
Yeah, man.
back to Brian Kelly.
Back to Brian Keller. BK, look, I know you had all season, even going into the year, like you had the Burger King jokes. I say you're gonna be working at Burger King soon. Man,
Even worse, even worse. Nobody would touch him because he did such a terrible job at LSU. So he is consulting for free at Memphis.
yeah.
How the mighty arrogant people have fallen and went straight to free consultation in Memphis.
Just man, I think just like looking at the football, you and I, we've talked ad nauseum about this. I always say that I tell people like you've always respected like him, but you never respected or you didn't believe in him when it came down to the clutch moments or the big games. But you
Yeah,
always respected his resume, like because at the time he was hired, like he was the greatest coach they ever hired. When you talk about pre LSU resume, nobody was more accomplished as an LSU coach. It's not even remotely close. Nick
yeah,
Saban didn't win a championship. Like he hadn't won the championship when he got to LSU in 2000. He had yet to win a national title. So all these coaches like Nick and Les Miles, they had modest success, but it wasn't like overwhelming like Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was by far the most accomplished coach they ever hired. When you talk
yeah.
about pre LSU resume, and I was shocked that they hired him because I was surprised they actually pulled that big fish based on his resume because like he was a two-time national championship at the D2 level. And it was Grand Valley State back to back, I think, and then went to Central Michigan, then went to Cincinnati, of course, went to Notre Dame. A really steady guy, so but did not go over the top. You know, they didn't pull it over the top at the end of
They
the
got
day.
close, but they ran
Yeah,
into
they
that
did.
Alabama buzzsaw.
Yeah, man. They Nick Saban had it humming. So I mean, just end of the day, no shame in that per se. Just like the dude was different. But like just so they end up hiring. So it started off really strong because like I always said like the 22 team was really that was the greatest coaching job I've ever seen because like they had after the Natty in 19 they had a 2-year rut. And like
Yeah,
just like it just got because they had like basically no scholarship play. It was just it was in a mess. But like
and we
so
came
now
out and we won the West that year and went to the SEC
yeah,
championship.
beating Bama, and I was like, like obviously we lost to Georgia, but I was like the only loss in my lifetime, just where I wasn't necessarily upset. I didn't like us losing, but just
Yeah,
considering where they were the previous 2 seasons, how they fallen, and I didn't expect them to make it to the SEC title game. So I think that was the greatest coaching job.
yeah,
Obviously, the following year you go to you have an historic offense, but you waste Jaden Daniels' season
on
because the
a
defense
terrible
was
defense.
yeah, it's the statistically the worst defense in the history of the program.
Yeah,
To this past season, it's the complete opposite. And I've said that you know I'm a broken record with this. Like the 25 season was just the inverse flip of the 23 season. This past season, like it had an incredible defense, but offense wasted. You know, and we could talk about like, the injuries. We could talk about there's so many things that went wrong.
yeah.
But just like because obviously emotional win against Clemson to open the season. And like
Mhm.
I was like 17, I said, listen, we lost like what several straight season openers. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, so just like you get them
Since
that monkey off your back. Go ahead.
let's see, we won it in 19.
Yeah.
We
And
lost
lost to everyone.
2020, 2021, 2022,
2,
2023,
3.
24,
So that's
and
5 in a
finally
row.
won it in 25, But Brian Kelly, to me, showed his true colors in that first season, and we were just blinded by the Bama win to see it. When Jaden Daniels basically limped the whole first half of the Texas A&M game that we lost,
Mhm.
and Brian Kelly consistently put that kid in and put him in career-ending situations with a knee injury. But we were
So,
just too blinded by, oh, we win the West and this and that, you know, and he could do nothing wrong and blah blah blah, you know.
yeah.
And I think he showed his true colors then, and nobody paid attention. He sure as hell showed his true colors with the whole Nussmeier situation.
And like just they wanted to the media wanted to convince us so bad like there's nothing wrong. I'm like, it's just like it is hard to believe that you go from the 24 season they were so productive and then like not to the historic level of 23 and 19 of course, but they were still very productive in 24 offensively, and then come from this in 25 like they just the thing like I said the same thing about the 23 team. It's like the only thing like the 23 offense defense did well was put on the uniform
Yeah,
consistently well. Same thing with the 25 offense. The only thing they did consistently well was put on the uniform.
uh
It's like
huh,
you can't and I was thinking like I was always a big Brian Kelly supporter, even though and I respected everybody's take about like he didn't get the teams over the hump like he should. And the thing
yeah,
is like when you just cannot waste 2 elite units and keep your job. He wasted the
yeah,
elite offense in 23, wasting the elite 25 defense. It's hard for me to keep your job because they fired the assistant coach. I was like, you just can't keep
yeah.
your job. You wasted 2 elite offenses. You didn't have to be great in either one. It's
Exactly. You didn't
average.
have to
So
be
it's like,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, but we should have known stuff was wrong with Brian Kelly from day one, game one, where he didn't when we lost that season opener that first game, he didn't take responsibility for that loss. He looked around and blamed the players. We need to execute more. That's the players. I can't do much of this and that. We don't know how to finish and beating the table. You know,
Oh man.
we should have
Oh
known
gosh.
as LSU fans looking at that guy that he was a loser in that, you look at the chain of events that go down and Scott Woodward hired winners, but he's got two black eyes, and they both came from football hires. When he hired Jimbo Shrimp at Texas A&M and hired Brian Kelly, the Burger King himself, to come coach at LSU. Because if you look at it, he's responsible for bringing in national championship coach. God, I hate when he does this. He's responsible for bringing in national championship coaches in Kim Mulkey and Jay Johnson. I mean, he's the athletic director on paper. I don't know how much of that was actually him. I
Yeah.
think with baseball, Skip had a lot, and I know with gymnastics, Didi Bro had that one in. So I guess on paper, I'll give him Jay Clark, even though Jay Clark was already here.
Yeah.
But his two black eyes are Jimbo Shrimp and B the Burger King. BK the Burger King.
It did him in, man. Just because and I really like Scott, but it those didn't help.
No.
Yeah, just and like there's so much other stuff, with hiring like coaching preferences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean that's all been well hashed out. But anyways, just like
But
that football, yeah, go ahead.
That brings me to the next thing in the chain of events that happened. The only time I'll ever say this, thank you, Texas A&M, for taking out the trash. Y'all come in, y'all beat us like a redheaded stepchild in the second half of that game, literally take over Death Valley Tiger Stadium. And the next day, Brian Kelly's gone. He's packing his bags. He's leaving. Y'all literally, unbeknownst to y'all think y'all killed the king, so to say, because that's y'all national championship game over there every year is when y'all beat us. But y'all don't realize y'all saved our football program.
I remember I had the schedule, I had like the paper schedule on the wall, doing the win column updates on Reddit and stuff. But I was like,
yeah,
I was out with family like during that second half. We was out just to spend time together. But and I was just seeing the updates. I was like, ooh, I'm so glad I'm not at home watching this. And like when I got home, I just took the schedule down because we already lost like a couple games. I was like, yeah, it's done.
Looking back on it, there's two times where we should have known this was going to happen. One of them happened in 2022 in his first season. It was a 11 a.m. game against Tennessee.
Ooh, that was I was at work and I saw it. Yeah,
I was there. They came in. They took over our stadium. The only two times I remember a fan base taking over Tiger Stadium is in Brian Kelly's tenure as LSU's coach, and it's Tennessee and Texas A&M.
First season, last season.
Yep, and they have Texas A&M to this day still has no idea they saved our football program, But, that chain of events led to the governor of the state of Louisiana to step in to fire our athletic director because he hired Brian Kelly and he didn't want these. Because this dude keeps spitting nonsense that he doesn't know anything about and kept saying that the taxpayers were paying Brian Kelly's buyout and this and that.
That was such a mess.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
Realistically, if you look at it, I heard a joke that somebody said, and this is the only time I'll get political on this show and bring in presidents and stuff, but somebody said that the LSU fan base petitioned Donald Trump and that's why to get Jeff Landry out of the LSU sports and stuff and to keep his nose out of it. That's why he got elected as a special envoy to Greenland or wherever he sent him to get him out of that so we can because Trump likes winners and he wanted LSU to get a winner.
Okay.
I also heard something that the most fun he's ever had in the White House is when LSU's won a national championship and went there. But, he poked his nose in it. He didn't need to poke his nose in it. Sports isn't about politics.
It's not, as it should be.
Sports isn't about politics unless you're playing on a travel ball team back in the daddy ball days, the early days of sports, where it's who your daddy's the coach and you like this one, let's play that one. I don't like this dude's parents. He's going to sit the bench, And even then, it doesn't belong in sports,
Yeah, I'm with you. Like this, that's a whole other can of worms too. But yeah, I'm with you. What you're talking about. But yeah, just like it was just such a mess, man. Just like, cause I was like, man, what a laughing stock. The season already been rough, and then, like you got
Yeah,
this extra unneeded attention to this program. I was like,
just put
man,
salt in the wound.
perfectly said. But thank God, just like we were able to pull off the Lane Kiffin hire and really just reinvigorate the program and the university.
Yeah,
But make it out much needed.
I think that Lane Kiffin hire cost us our baseball season.
Hey, listen, but what did we say about Will Wade? We're gonna get back to Brother
Yeah,
Wade in a second, but just like they sacrificed Will Wade to save the football program, you gotta save the football program. It's the moneymaker,
yeah,
it's the cash cow, it's an iconic brand. LSU baseball is an iconic brand too, but it's not as famous, never been more famous than football because football's more popular at the collegiate level. So they did the right thing. So
exactly.
so that's what it is.
Yeah, give me a second.
Mhm.
Get this camera
What I always tell you about the
backed up
camera,
off of me.
listen, you should have saw the camera when you had walked out the room. Like, the camera was about to break his neck trying to follow you.
There we go. Raise it up just a tiny little bit to get the there we go. But yeah, so all of that happens, Then we get into the mess where the coach is fired and a week later the AD is fired. I think they did a good job at bringing in an AD who's already on there
Yeah,
in Naaman Burge. I think he's going to do great things at LSU.
breathe. Yeah,
And, with all the commotion and stuff around that, if Lane Kiffin wouldn't have said yes, he was coming here, I'm pretty sure we'd have ended up with Frank Wilson as our head football coach this year.
yeah, yeah.
Because with
That's
all the drama that we had leading up to that, I don't think anybody else would have touched the LSU job.
yeah. And the thing is, this what makes it because it's like it's not every day that you have like a blue blood program or elite high profile program that gets open like that. Like Michigan, LSU, like it was a very that's a whole other thing because it was like a huge coaching cycle this past season.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech came open, Penn State came open, Michigan came open, LSU came, just all in that
Florida.
short time. Florida, yes, Auburn, yeah. It's just like it was a crazy season,
Yeah.
but
But
that was another fascinating thing.
that all happens, that all goes. Thanksgiving weekend after the season, we end up with all kind of stuff. Lane Kiffin comes. Then Ole Miss tries to correct their mistake by using Lane Kiffin as a scapegoat. When
Oh yeah,
in reality, everything that they told their fans in the country was a lie, and they were just trying to make themselves look good and Lane Kiffin look bad.
that's what normally comes down to.
Yeah, and they still make themselves look worse and worse. But fast forward a couple of months, and we're in the transfer portal, and we're looking at quarterbacks, and Sorsby decides to go to Texas Tech, and thank God he did because
Man,
even though if he would have came to LSU, even though and the events would have played out the same way, even though he'd never played a down of football at LSU, the NCAA would have probably tried to give LSU the death penalty.
yes, man. This was all come on, brother. I'm like,
You know,
you talk about an all-time bullet dodge right there, man. Oh man, goodness gracious,
hmm
they dodged a bullet
because the NCAA would have tried to come down on LSU for that. You know,
without question. And yeah, without
even though the
question.
kid never played a down of football at LSU, they would have came down on LSU. And two things going against LSU with the NCAA is the NCAA absolutely hates LSU.
Now that like the media
Yeah,
also, yeah. And we'll
the
get into
media
that
and the
even more so.
NCAA hates LSU. And then you look at it, they hate Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin made a career choice
Yeah,
that any of us in his shoes who actually wanted to compete for and have resources to compete year in and year out. I know Ole Miss had an outlier season last year where they actually competed
yeah.
on a national level, but that'll never happen again at Ole Miss. most likely. I'm not saying it'll never happen again. I'm just saying the man who
It's hard
brought
to
you to the
replicate that at Ole
yeah,
Miss.
the man who did that is gone.
Yeah.
You can't replicate it. Y'all had successful season after successful season because of Lane Kiffin, not because of, but it's hard to knock a guy who's looking at historical stats, statistics wise, and saying oh, let me go to LSU where, they have successful every other head coach other than the last one, out of the last four, three of the four have won a national championship at LSU. Let me go, let me make my jump,
Yep.
you know?
I mean, and the thing is, like, one thing I hate about those conversations is that it's like, oh my, everybody, these players are jumping ship and stuff. I was like, brother, the coach has been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
Nothing's new about this. That's the old. It was like, so if you were a college basketball coach, would you rather coach at Toothbrush Tech or would you rather go to Duke?
You know, Duke,
You got like, come on, like let's be serious for a second.
the name alone carries a little bit for you.
Yes, for sure. Like,
This
don't act
name
like they
right
don't do the
here,
same.
this name right here carries a lot more than, in football at least, in recent success.
Yeah,
LSU, that brand carries a lot more than, no, it's not just football. Because I saw a video of a Japanese guy. These kids were on I don't know if I sent that to you. I don't know I can't remember if it was a TikTok or an Instagram reel, but these guys went to Japan and were wearing LSU stuff. And this Japanese guy stopped them and told them, "Go Tigers," and had a LSU football jersey on, a Joe Burrow jersey on.
mm.
You know, it's not just football, it's every sport at LSU. That's a worldwide brand nowadays.
And you see it like, and the thing is, like, you see it through all these sports. It's like women's basketball is very popular, gymnastics is very popular, and that's a whole other topic because like they don't make the money, but they're not as like mainstream, but it's hard to replicate that notoriety that this university gets on social media. Listen, if you look at LSU football across all their platforms, they have like 3 or 4 million. Just the football program has like 3 or 4 million total followers
Yeah.
across like the major social media platforms. And that's as a college. They have more followers than the actual university's page. And they're not the only one that's like that because, like Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, like they have millions of followers across their platforms as well. Just the football program alone. Like it's unreal.
If you look at the most recognizable college brand, I could be wrong. You can't Google it because you got to be specific, and I ain't got the time, the brain span to do that right now. But the brand LSU is one of the most recognizable brands. You know,
Yep.
that's my point that I'm trying to make. So you can't blame a guy who wants to come with the name recognition, like you gave the basketball example with Duke. Duke, North Carolina have brand recognition when it comes to basketball. You know,
Right.
and I would throw Kentucky in there too because Kentucky is normally
Like, it's 8 national championships. You could throw UConn, Kansas. I mean, it's just, the point is like say, even though like money plays a massive role for the players, which
hmm
which I don't blame them, but just the brand still has the national weight. So I would
yeah,
much rather go to a blue blood, even though I'm gonna have it's higher expectation, but you already have the backing of the fans, the historic backing of
exactly.
the school, and you come like Lane comes to a school, even though Ole Miss has had success, they won a couple championships in football years ago, and like he's brought them like to your point, he re-elevated their status. So
Yeah.
like, and then just but college sports is all about ceiling. Because it's
hmm
not like the pro sports where it's like it's built on parity. College sports will never be built on parity.
No.
It would never happen. So like I would much rather like take the criticism. Now I'm not saying like handled it perfectly, but just like but that's the whole other thing with the calendar and stuff like that. I would just rather take the L and just
Yeah.
in the court of public opinion and just go to a better situation.
Like I said, the last episode we did, our fans is yelling STTDB. Do you really think we care about what you paint us as if we're painted as the villains or if we're painted as this.
Listen, and like
I mean,
we're gonna talk about that soon with
you
like,
know,
yeah,
do you really think our fans care about being painted as the villain or not? We
they,
don't care.
they embrace that stuff, brother.
We only care if our teams are good. We are probably one of the most hostile places to play, and we take pride in that. But moving on, we start off baseball season and we all got high hopes and all in good.
Man, Jackson, you went to Jacksonville, brother.
Went
Yeah,
to
this
Jacksonville and we cleared house in a tournament and had a great time. And
had the glow in our eye.
when started 8-0, in comes McNeese, kicks us right in the balls.
And the thing is, like man, it's so shocking how it went, man. Just like, and this is like, we did the game by game updates. We did the powerhouse polls, which
Yeah,
if you haven't seen our powerhouse polls to those who are new, throughout the baseball season, we did like a weekly ranking of the top 3 performers of LSU baseball from offense, defense, and pitching. Each week we did like a point system. So be sure to look into that our latest upload from a couple weeks back
yeah. I'll
just
put
to
it
like and
when I
Jesse's
do.
gonna like hook you up.
Yeah, when I put the YouTube video out for this one tomorrow, I will put that one as the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't still to this day can't tell you if it was just. I really do think due to injuries, like we talked about at the beginning of this episode,
Yeah.
we were forced to play our 9 best statistically, and not our 9 best
Continuity.
continuity wise and teamwork.
Yeah.
That was one of Skip's biggest things. He played his 9 best, not his 9 best.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, they just, for all the talent, a lot of people, they rigged on like Mammoth Stone and all the other guys and Musso. They always say like, "Oh, how is it the most talented team?" I like listen. Talent. When people say most talent, it's about projection. It's about on paper.
Yeah.
They're never going to be short of talent at LSU. Now, but
Yeah.
I do understand the frustration because it's all about the production. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like never in my mind was there. I never questioned that they didn't have talent. They just didn't execute on it, because especially not consistently. And injury definitely didn't help them, but they had a lot. They were so flawed in every capacity. They just never
Exactly.
played consistently well in any facet
Yeah.
throughout the year.
And if you look at it, I watched it. Because it's been a week now. We'll just spoil it. But Michael Cobble and Jay Johnson did an interview last week, and I watched it on YouTube. And one of the things Jay was saying is, he feels good about the pitching staff for next year. Our starting rotation, because you've got Evans, Moore, and Schmidt all coming back.
Mm.
What got those guys in trouble this year is when they were in the tight spot, we couldn't make a play behind them.
Yep.
We couldn't put our foot on the throats of our opponents. I'm kind of pulling for Oklahoma to win the national championship. My 2 choices are Georgia or Oklahoma
Yeah.
right now, and if you look back at the Oklahoma series, you had it on there for Case and Evans for the performance of the year.
Yeah.
We won that game. Then we go to the Friday night game. We were 1 double play away from winning the series against a semifinal College World Series team,
Yeah.
potential College World Series champion. We were 1 double play away, botch double play away. We could never get over that hump and say,
Never.
defensively, we were clean. We went from having the best defensive team statistically in school history to having one of the worst defensive teams in school history.
It's a dramatic follow-up. Now, mind you, this is with like Stephen Milam on the roster.
Yeah.
I can only imagine he was so unbelievably dominant defensively this year. Like, and I've said before, he has my vote for the greatest defensive shortstop in the history of this
Yeah.
program. I just don't think it's hard to really grasp that. Now,
I know.
imagine how worse they would have been without him. because he
Exactly.
saved a lot of plays for us. I say, not having Chris Stanfield was a huge blow to us.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's even with the injuries compounded the struggles, but they just whenever the offense was hot, defense was non-existent. And
Yeah.
when the defense was like offense didn't show up.
And, you look at it early in that season, Stanfield missed the first 15 games of the season. And in that first 15 games, that was our hot streak, that 8-game hot streak.
Mhm.
But, you look at it too, Stephen Milam didn't have an error. This is why he's going to be one of the, if not the greatest. And I think if he can get his bat lined up for next year,
Yeah.
I think it'll be, if we can have postseason Milam all season long, I think Milam will go down as the greatest shortstop in LSU history, not just the greatest defensive shortstop.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I know, like he's been steady, like steady home run hit, especially down the stretch this year. He
Yeah.
was really clutch with the long ball. But like I'm with you. I agree. If you get to like that 15 plus mark with homers, I think you can start really having that serious discussion.
Yeah. And, speaking of Milam coming back, so
Yes.
I was watching that Jay Johnson interview with Michael Cobble, and Jay hit one of these when Michael Cobble said, Stephen Milam is going to be gone. How do you replace him? He hit one of these,
Shit.
which Stephen Milam followed that up by, this is how I knew he was coming back, I think, because I think he followed that up on social media by combing through that whole YouTube interview, getting to the 16-minute and 39-second mark for those of you that want to go actually and watch it,
There you go,
and
brother.
screenshotted it and made it his Instagram profile pic. And a day or two later, Stephen Milam comes out and she posted a video saying he's coming back. The season didn't end like he wanted to, and he's coming back.
That's all right.
On the other hand, the flip side, so shout out to the Diamond Baseball app or Diamond Stats app, whatever they call themselves. They actually have the summer ball leagues on their app. So if you know your teams, which I looked up, okay, and let me pull it up. I saved it. So you've got Jack Ruckert and William Patrick playing for the Heldsburg Prune Packers. Reagan Ricken playing for, this is all that William Patrick and Jack Ruckert for the Prune Packers are playing in the Pacific Empire League. For the Foul-Mouthed Commodores in the Cape Cod League, Reagan Ricken is playing. And here's a big one that makes me think we have a Tiger coming back to try to win his third national championship in 5 years. For the Anglers in the Cape Cod League, right-handed pitcher Gavin Guidry, So if you guys want to take that, that's just some of them that LSU had posted, and write down those team names, go to that Diamond Sports app and try to follow your teams, your kids, not your kids, but our guys on their summer ball stuff. You can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, shout out to Diamond. That like I think Diamond is just like such a tremendous tool. Especially
Yeah.
like when it's not high profile enough. Like ESPN, like they'll start covering it largely during the World Series and in the tournament altogether. But even then, you don't get like the live updates on the
Yeah.
app. So
And it's a crying shame. And I'm not saying nothing because we're going to spend these last 10 minutes covering just rapid fire
yeah,
quick events that's going on right now. But America's pastime in college baseball isn't getting looked at and getting enough stuff.
right,
But historically, sports that we haven't looked at, like the WWE, the WNBA, are all getting ESPN airtime. But probably, in my opinion, the more fun baseball to watch in college baseball isn't getting that recognition that it deserves,
yeah, and it's definitely a process. I know a lot of guys they go to the farm system out of high school or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
there's only so much you're going to really see, and like obviously I know college baseball is extremely regional. Like
Yeah.
historically, it was on the West Coast for many years, and like the last 20 years, it's been on the Southeast.
I
But
mean, you
just
look at Omaha alone this year, and it's the
yeah,
SEC. SEC tournament with a few newcomers that we could plug in.
Yeah.
I think the only team that's not considered a South, and I don't know if you would consider them is West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't consider them a South either. They're more
Yeah.
like coastal, but yeah, I'm with you. They're just
And
like,
I don't know if I wouldn't consider North Carolina the South either, but
yeah,
you know, but 6 of the 8 teams in Omaha come from the Southeastern Conference states
yes.
because you have Troy,
Hmm.
who is in Alabama. You know, it's a
Yep.
very southern baseball nowadays is a very southern thing,
Yeah.
you know. But moving on, LSU men's basketball picked up Will Wade.
Like I said before, rehire you. This is LSU to
Yeah.
rehire you. We're not above kicking the tires again, circling the wagon.
Yeah. And I'm trying to go to Louisiana CardCon this year,
Mm.
especially on a Saturday morning, because none other than Ed Ogeron is going to be there signing autographs for the first 200 people there
Mhm.
because he's got to get back to work on that recruiting trail and
Yep.
go get us some boys that can play football
Yeah, you can do it.
and not whine and moan about everything like the previous coach did. And as you people know, as you guys know, anytime I could take a shot at Brian Kelly, I would take that shot.
Like that's a stable. That's a signature, brother. That's
Yeah.
a good signature. That's
But
your signature.
I'm gonna try this episode right here marks a new leaf, and we're turning over a new leaf. And I'm not gonna bring
Proud
up
of you,
Brian
brother.
Kelly anymore
Yeah, I'm
because
proud of you, brother.
we're gonna let the trash stay at the dump and not bring you back out. But normally a coaching hire and a coaching fire, you don't feel sorry for the coach that gets fired.
Hmm.
I mean, I do feel bad for McMahon because I don't think he was given near enough of the resources that
Not whatsoever.
he needed to be successful at LSU.
Yeah.
But I'm happy we got Will Wade back. I think we'll be competitive, and who knows, we might be hanging a Raptor for men's basketball in the PMAC soon.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see. I think he was if he wouldn't have gotten in trouble when he did, I think his trajectory was national championship. And NC State wanting to do open an investigation on LSU and all of that. Look, name a school that doesn't do that.
So
If
like
they did it,
they were
if they did anything wrong, name a school who doesn't do what you're claiming they do, where they wait for a certain date to hire a coach if they can.
And it's the thing is so calculated. And like I said already, listen, like just in a vacuum on the surface level, North Carolina State is a far and away better basketball job in the men's side. It's not even
Yeah,
remotely close. But just like only for this specific isolated circumstance where you have a guy that once coached here and did not want to leave here.
exactly.
So like who enjoyed it here. That's an isolated circumstance in a vacuum with no context. I'm taking North Carolina over LSU as a men's basketball coach any and every day of the year. But this is not what this is because it's
Yeah,
a unique circumstance. That's all it is.
exactly. It's a unique circumstances. The man felt like he had unfinished business in Baton Rouge, and I really think he would have bounced around had LSU not fired McMahon. He would have bounced around and been readily available to LSU at any point, and they said, "Would you like to come back?" That's just to me. That's what I feel. But that right there does it for our our yearly review.
What a year, brother. What a year.
It's been a great year.
Yes.
I look forward to another great year coming up. We'll have to figure out some Tiger football awards
Yep.
like we
We'll
did
get
for
into that.
baseball.
Yep. We'll get into
You
that.
know, but starting this coming week or next week, we're going to be dropping 2 episodes a week.
Yes.
So y'all look out for that. It's been a great year. Thank you for everyone who supported or tuned in to us. I know a lot of it has kind of been rants we go on in tangents. We try to keep it fair, and we appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, liked, commented, subscribed, shared. Let's keep growing this and let's make this great. We can do this. We can turn this into something fun and great and interactive for everybody.
No doubt, man. Just like you said, it's been a great year, fast paced moving year. But it's been like even with the ebbs and flows, a lot of it was a rough athletic season, calendar year for LSU. But just we've had a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to indulge in. But yeah, I'm just hopefully we take that next step, with the brand, of course, and obviously LSU get some championships on the board this year.
Yeah, y'all have already met the mascot of the channel.
Yeah.
Introduced him today, a year later. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in, and we're gonna get right back into it in a little bit. And everybody, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things that we need to do to grow this thing out. Hopefully, we'll be able to do some live streams coming up in the future.
Yes, for sure.
And look for us on Spotify and YouTube or Apple Podcast. I'm gonna try to get it on Amazon Podcast for those of you who listen there. And look for us on every Tuesday and Thursday coming up.
Yes,
You know,
more to come.
so I hope everybody has a great day, a great night, or whatever you have. Just make it a great one. That'll do it from us. See y'all later.
Peace.